So in this video, I'll explain to you how to save up to 50% of your income. Yes, this may seem like a big number. 50% of your income is half of the money you make, but honestly, it's realistic. And I'll tell you how I managed to get pretty close to that number, and even some months end up saving more than 50%. So for starters, the first thing you need to do to be able to save 50% of your income is to reduce your expenses. Obviously, if you spend all your money, you're not going to be able to save any of it. And there's a couple of things you should focus on cutting off as soon as possible to be able to reach that 50% saving mark. For starters, you have to reduce your debt or completely pay it off or find a way to get rid of it legally. Obviously, the biggest debt that people have, in my experience, is a car loan debt. So if you're financing a car and your car payment is $200, $300, $400 a month, you have no need to have that. You should find a way to get rid of that. Either buy yourself a cheaper car or sell your car and just use the public transportation as much as possible and survive for as long as you can without a car. Personally, that's what I did, and I managed to save so much more money now that I don't have any car payments, and I would recommend to anyone that wants to save a lot of money to do that. Another thing that a lot of people have is phone bills and paying for a phone that's, I guess, newer, or a phone that's more expensive and that you end up financing. You should try to pay off your phone as soon as possible and not buy a new phone every year or every 2 years. You have to try to keep that phone for as long as possible, and by doing that, you'll be able to reduce your monthly payment, which you'll only have to pay for your phone plan. Here in Canada, phone plans are sometimes a little more expensive than they are in the States, but what I was told from somebody that works in a local phone provider company, he told me that instead of keeping the same provider, you should switch providers every 2 years, since once your plan is up, sometimes a different provider has a better new customer discount, which an existing customer doesn't receive. So personally, that's what I did. I was previously paying off my phone, and I was doing the financing that after 2 years, you return your phone or you pay it off. And I just decided to pay it off early and switch provider. And I managed to get my phone bill from $80 a month all the way down to $30 a month. The second thing you need to do to be able to save 50% of your income is you need to track your spending. I personally check my bank account and my credit card accounts almost every day. And honestly, by doing so, I know how much I'm spending on a regular basis, and I don't get caught looking at my credit card bill or my bank account a couple of days later seeing either unexpected charges or seeing that I've spent too much on eating out or anything like that. You should try to only spend money on stuff that's necessary. So if you want to spend money on food, don't get takeout. Go to the grocery store and buy some groceries. That'll end up saving you a ton of money. Instead of using Uber Eats or getting delivery, just go to the grocery store and make your own meals. Also, by tracking your spending, you can tell how much you spend every month on activities or kind of useless expenses that aren't necessary for you right now, trying to save as much money as possible. This brings me to the third thing that you should do if you want to be able to save 50% of your income. You need to start forcing yourself to save and invest. Think of your saving account or your investing account as money that you'll never be able to touch ever again, and sort of think of the money that you put in your savings account as some sort of an expense that you have every month. If you knew that you had 500, 1,000, or even 5,000 for the higher income earners going off of your monthly pays every month, you'd really rethink of every expense that you do on a regular basis. You should force yourself to save a certain amount of money either weekly or monthly, and that amount of money should be an amount that's more than what you're comfortable with. For example, for me, when I sold my car and I decided to start investing and saving money, I had a goal to save $5,000 by the end of the year, and this was in May. So I had 6 months to save $5,000. I ended up saving that amount in 3 months, but I only reached that target because I was forcing myself to put $400, $500 either weekly, bi-weekly, and just pushing myself closer and closer to be able to save over $1,000 a month. And by doing so, I managed to save on so many different things and make money to be able to save $5,000 in the time span of 3 months. So that's close to $2,000 a month. In a way, you kind of have to gamify saving money. Let's say you're playing a game and you want to reach a certain number of trophies, you want to reach a certain level. You're going to grind to do everything in your power to be able to reach that level or that amount of trophies as soon as possible. You might keep playing when you know that you should be going to bed, or you know that you should be doing something else. And that's kind of the mentality you need to have while saving money. You want to be putting money in that savings or that investing account, even when you see your checking account getting lower or you see some of the other bills you have coming. That's just going to force yourself to reach that goal as quick as possible. To be able to save almost 50% of your income, you kind of have to make some sacrifices, which honestly on the long run is something that will benefit you. So the earlier you start doing that, the better for your future. Yes, sometimes you want to do some fun activities that might cost a little more. You want to do a fun trip, you want to do all these things. But if you're only making, let's say, $30,000 a year, and you want to do a trip that's $3,000, you have to realize that that's almost 10% of your income gone in just that trip. If it's a week-long trip down south, is that week-long trip really worth 10% of your salary? You still have to pay either your mortgage or your rent. You still have to pay your food. You have to survive the rest of the year. So sometimes it's better putting off these activities for later, or maybe shop around to find a better deal on a trip and maybe go on a $1,500 trip instead of a $3,000 trip. It's all relative to your income. Honestly, if you want to save 50% of your income and you think that you're not making that much money, then you have to make a change in your life to be able to get that higher paying job or find a way to make more money, either with side hustles or investing. Honestly, from what I noticed, investing has just a snowball effect. And even if you do a little bit of it every month or every week, that's gonna go such a long way and you'll really thank yourself later. So start saving, start investing, and you'll reach your goals.